Guys, so I am back, and I'm back to making videos full time, back to work full time since past Wednesday, and back from my vacation. I appreciate your support. I appreciate some of the nice messages I received, a few emails as well, and appreciate your prayers. And I appreciate you supporting this channel. Now, today we will look into Dream Theater, which is a progressive metal band. And for those of you who don't know this band, I'll give a little bit of a background. We'll read from their Wikipedia page what Wikipedia has to say about them. We'll look into the symbolism on their album covers. We will look into some of the lyrics, and we will look into, well, expose some of that symbolism. But first of all, before we start, let's go to the scriptures. Deuteronomy chapter 18 verses 10 to 12 reads, "There shall not be found among you anyone that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire, or that useth divination, or an observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch, or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits, or a wizard, or a necromancer. For all that do these things are an abomination unto the Lord. And because of these abominations, the Lord thy God doth drive them out from before thee." Verse 13 says, "Thou shalt be perfect with the Lord thy God." So, let's go and read a little bit about this band. Dream Theater is an American progressive metal band formed in 1985 under the name Majesty by John Petrucci, John Mayung, and Mike Portnoy, all natives of Long Island, New York, while they attended Berklee College of Music in Boston, Massachusetts. They subsequently dropped out of their studies to concentrate further on the band that would eventually become Dream Theater. The current lineup consists of Petrucci, Mayung, James Labrie, Jordan Rudess, and drummer Mike Mangini. Now, this is not your typical Justin Bieber kind of music for the masses, Lady Gaga garbage. It's more type of a musician's music, and most of you know that I study music and all of that, used to, and be a musician. So for me, this was a band that I really used to listen to a lot, and I can make a whole series talking about this band, but we're not going to talk in this video about their musicianship or any of their skills on instruments, singing and all of that, and in songwriting. No, we will just expose them for the Satanists that they are. Nevertheless, even though they're not, super mass mainstream music, as of 2018, it says here, Dream Theater has sold over 12 million records worldwide and has received 3 Grammy nominations, including 1 win last year. Along with Queensryche, Fate's Warning, the band has been referred to as one of the big 3 of the progressive metal genre, responsible for its development and popularization. The big 3 before that, in the 70s and the 80s, was Pink Floyd, Yes, and Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Now, let's take a look at the logo. The Dream Theater logo before we look into the albums, because it's very important, as it's pretty much on their albums. Visible, and it's there, and we'll take a look. Here we have the logo. Despite the band being forced to change their name, Dream Theater adopted a custom logo known as the Majesty symbol, a wordmark which has appeared on the vast majority of their promotional material and on the front cover of every Dream Theater studio album. The Majesty symbol derived from Mary Queen of Scots' mark, which was reworked by Charlie Dominici for use on the album work When Dream and They Unite. If you take a look at this, you can see clearly an effeminate man with a one-eye symbolism and the logo being branded on his chest. Now, let's take a look at the logo itself. You can see, number one, it's very occultic. If you look at it really, really well and observe it, you can see the Masonic square and the compass right here, like right here, and then of course, as above, so below, the 3 pillars. The 3 stand for 3 up, 3 down, 3 up, which means 33, which is the highest degree in the Scottish Rite Freemasonry. And of course, here you have the pyramid with the A. You have an upside down pyramid as well here, and with the A there's another pyramid. So you can clearly see that this is pretty occult. Now, let's take a look at some of the album covers. When dream and day unite, you already saw it. An effeminate man, right? The right eyes are utterly darkened, as Zechariah 11:17 teaches. As a matter of fact, let's take a look at this scripture. Zechariah 11:17. Woe to the idle shepherd that leadeth the flock. Again, woe to the idle shepherd that leaveth the flock. The sword shall be upon his arm and upon his right eye. His arm shall be clean dried up, and his right eye shall be utterly darkened. As you can see, his right eye is utterly darkened. You have one eye, you are not with God. Now, let's take a look at images and words. Clearly right here, you got the Saturn stuff and the moon here with the space nonsense. I think this is a Saturn reference. Right here, you have the Sacred Heart of Jesus, as they call it. That's a Catholic nonsense. But what does it look like? It's just like the pagan love symbol. The pagan heart, the pagan love symbol. And you got the mark right here branded. You got some pillars here and nonsense, but this is all, it looks like it's some kind of temple. It's pretty creepy. With as well that little child there, which we don't really know what it is. I never really understood. It never really said anything about that cover anywhere. Doesn't say much about the artwork. Yeah, not really. I can't find anything here. But anyway, let's continue. Let's take a look at Awake, which is as well very telling. Right here, you got the Saturn reference. You got the moon reference here. You got the symbol right here. Their symbol right here on the floor. And then you have here the mirror reference, which has significant meaning in MK Ultra Mind Control, which at some point maybe I might do a separate video on MK Ultra Symbolism. Well, let's see if I feel led to. But right here you see the man in the mirror with the one-eye symbolism. Clear as day. Now, let's take a look into these other ones. Metropolis, scenes from a memory. You can see right here two of these symbols, and it's right centered on the one eye. And this is one of those concept albums like a rock opera. Notice here with the witchcraft, because these people are necromancers, they are wizards, they are into witchcraft. Right here in Act 1, just start reading it. It says, Metropolis Part 2, scenes from a memory opens to Nicholas, a troubled man going through past life regression therapy in a hypnotic trance induced by his hypnotherapist. So it tells you that all of this is nonsense. Hypnotherapy is all satanic, is all garbage. It's in putting you in a trance, hypnotizing you, which is 100% satanic. Now, 6 degrees of inner turbulence is not much on here, really. But I believe, I remember inside the album there were some one-eye symbolisms and stuff. If you take a look at the next album, which is Train of Thought, is one of the most obvious ones. You got the one-eye symbolism right there on the album cover. You got the ravens. I believe these are ravens. I exposed the ravens before the raven symbolism, so we don't have to take a look at that right now. And so yeah, that's that. Let's take a look at another one. The next one after that is Octavarium. And Octavarium has again the symbol right here. But Octavarium is very interesting because inside the album there's some clues. If you inside the CD, first of all, here we have it. This is from the CD booklet. You got right here a hexagram, right? 8 is a hexagram, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, yeah. And right in the hexagram you have the pentagram. Okay? Right there you have the pentagram. Now, that's inside the CD cover. I had the CD, so I know that. Right here as well we have the hexagram. Right at the back of the CD. And what I find even more interesting, right on the CD you have the pentagram right here again inside this inside the hexagram, and at the back cover you have all of them with the one-eye symbolism. You see all of them are, especially here John Petrucci, one-eye symbolism, James Labrie right here, one-eye symbolism, my portrait, all one-eye symbolism. What? The right eye is utterly darkened, just as Zechariah 11:17 says, Woe to the idle shepherd, leaveth the flock, the sword shall be upon his right arm, and upon his right eye, his arm shall be clean dried up, and his right eye shall be utterly darkened. Your eye is darkened, you have one eye, you are not with God. So, systematic chaos. There's some ants right here, and there's specific ant symbolism in Freemasonry as well. We have black clouds and silver linings. If we take a look at that one, black clouds and silver linings, you will clearly see. Let's take a look at the album cover. Let's see if I can find a better. Yeah, here we go. Right here you can see the one eye in the pyramid. The one eye in the pyramid. You got the moon, you got the references to the planets and all that garbage. Saturn, which is Satan, right? You have the elephant. This is mocking Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ says, I am the door. Right? So this is mocking. This is Satan. He opened the door and the kid is going to be enlightened. You see the light coming through is Satanic Enlightenment, Freemasonry. And we will later on in the video look at some lyrics off this album, and you will see clear connection with Freemasonry. They're not hiding it, folks. They are open about it. Now, dramatic turn of events. I already stopped listening to them when these, in 2010 I believe, or 11, when these albums came out. But again, you have some garbage here as well with the symbol. You got the, you know, the space reference right here. Here you got some dystopian nonsense. Here you have the skull and bones 322 merging man and machine right here, AI garbage. And there's probably symbolism in the last album as well. We don't have to look into this now. Why? Because we're gonna focus on something else. This album I didn't show you, which was their most commercial album. The fourth album, which is called Falling Into Infinity. They already had like a, we're on MTV with a few singles off this album. They started working with Desmond Child, and Kevin Shirley, one of the biggest rock music producers, also produced this album, which of course they sold out basically. It became mainstream on this album. It's called Falling Into Infinity. As you can see here, the also famous infinity symbol. While the infinity symbol has not just one meaning, as we know with these symbols, they all have more than one meaning. So what is the infinity symbol? It's called the Vesica Piscis, and right now we're going to take a look at the Vesica Piscis, and we're going to expose the symbol because it is very important for you to know, and it's not one of those symbols that is as blatantly obvious as the one eye symbolism and you know, and the pyramid and all of that garbage, or the 666 sign. No, let's take a look at the Vesica Piscis, because this symbol has a lot of deep meaning, and we're going to go and expose it right now. So without further ado, let's start. Ancient Mesopotamian beliefs. As you can see right here, this is the Vesica Piscis, the same symbol as on the album. Ancient Mesopotamian beliefs, Vesica Piscis. The Vesica Piscis is a symbol denoting the space formed by the intersection of two congruent circles, each centered around the other. In Latin, Vesica Piscis means bladder of a fish, reflecting the shape's resemblance to the conjoined dual air bladders found in most fish. Associated with many different meanings, the Vesica Piscis symbolizes the woman's womb, fertility, and naturally the mother, idoless, idol as in goddess, should be with small g, figure in ancient beliefs and religious traditions. When the womb symbol, one of the most basic symbols of the idoless, was symbolized as the Vesica Piscis, this shape was considered in a similar form to the fish. The Vesica Piscis is given a name to the area where two circles intersect and are fundamental key of sacred geometry. In many of the ancient traditions, the holy being, the creator energy, was represented by the circle. Again, who is the master of the universe? Who is the great architect in Freemasonry? Is Lucifer. Okay? So Lucifer is the great architect of the universe. It's not God for them, folks. It's Lucifer. We already know that. Let's continue reading. perfect shape and proportion signify the creator who had no beginning and no end. This is the creative energy that was believed to have existed before the universe was created in the beginning, when there was no creature yet. So right now they're trying to tell you that this is God, right? Jehovah God. But we know that they're lying, okay? Because only God has no beginning and no end. He's the Alpha and the Omega, right? But this is Lucifer counterfeiting. We know that Satan was created, so he is not eternal. Now, the intersection of this circle with the second circle represents the union of the masculine and feminine energies and the expansion of duality. The shape that emerges from the combination of these two energies symbolizes the third energy. In other words, according to the old narratives, this form began to symbolize the divine child. It is observed that symbols are always born with an essential meaning, but can turn into different forms of meanings over time. While one identical symbol, the vesica Pisces and fish is shown a horizontal from the other is one is shown in vertical form. However, both symbols represent fertility in the womb. When the lens is arranged horizontal with its two overlaid circles placed one above the other, it symbolizes the interface between the physical and the spiritual worlds represented by the two circles. In this shape, it also resembles the Isis, the fish, the symbols of Christ, and has also been a symbol of life, the materialization of the spirit of Christ's mediation between heaven and earth. Now, vesica Pisces in different cultures. When the seed of life and flower life symbols, which are seen as an inseparable part of Mother Nature and Goddess, are placed on top of each other, many vesica Pisces symbols appear in horizontal and vertical forms. There are many vesica Pisces symbols inside the flower of life, which is the symbol of eternity and contains the sacred proportion of everything in the universe. Therefore, it is possible to say that the vesica Pisces is present and known in all areas where the flower life symbol is used. The length of each line in the flower life symbol corresponds to the width and the length of the vesica Pisces, and they all have a golden ratio. Therefore, it is possible to see vesica Pisces in almost every civilization where there are symbols of the flower of life and the seed of life. This ancient symbol was used by the ancient Egyptians in sacred geometry. Moreover, these symbols are frequently used in the ceiling decorations of architectural structures and wall paintings. You have here the ceiling decorations of the Prague Castle, and this is the flower of life symbol. It is through the vesica Pisces cosmic symbol, and although there is not enough evidence, some researchers attribute its origin to the MU. Therefore, it is possible to trace the origin of vesica Pisces back to ancient times. Vesica Pisces and monotheistic religions. It is possible to see the vesica Pisces in a Christian tradition, but it is not possible to date exactly when it was used. When it says Christian, this is speaking of Orthodox and Catholic. As we know, all this imagery is Catholic and Orthodox. This is not real Christianity, because it's known that most of the icons and images were destroyed during the iconoclasm period. For this reason, probably some of the depictions in which the vesica Pisces symbol may have been first used were destroyed. Despite this, it is seen that Jesus Christ is depicted in the vesica Pisces symbol in some depictions and paintings of later periods. In many reliefs in the Christian tradition, Jesus Christ is depicted inside the vesica Pisces oval. Symbolizes the Virgin Mary, who is thought of as a mother goddess, and her womb. We also mentioned that the fish symbol of Jesus Christ is actually the horizontal form of the vesica Pisces symbol. Here are the initials of the Greek word ichthys, fish, in the horizontal form. Vesica Pisces, which is associated with the womb, the Virgin Mary. These letters refer to the words Jesus Christos Theo Ios Soter, whatever, which means Jesus Christ, the Son of God, the Savior. It is thought that this symbol was used as of the 2nd century after Jesus. It is known that it was used in this way in ancient pagan times and symbolizes the uterus and the vagina. But over time, the symbolism of the fish became integrated with the physical and imaginary fish symbol. Thus, the fish, which is mentioned both in the drawings and in various discourses, has actually come to represent the female energy that is the goddess. It is well known, the esoteric tradition, that the fish symbolizes the uterus and the vagina. While this sacred symbol portrays the divine femininity, female fertility and birth of life in Christianity, the femininity notion is subdued, and it mainly reflects the glory of God. Again, this is about Kabbalah. It's speaking of that Shekinah or the Shekinah glory, whatever it is from the Kabbalah straight here. It tells you here what the Shekinah is. In contemporary Jewish discourse, the term Shekinah most commonly refers to the divine feminine, the divine aspect of God, God as mother. Nonsense. If you look at this, if you take a look and start reading about Kabbalah, it's where it will come up. So this is 100%. There you go, Shekinah Wikipedia in Kabbalah, in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, but it's nowhere in the Bible. There is no word Shekinah in the Bible, or Shekinah, whatever you pronounce it. It doesn't really matter. It's all the same nonsense. Today, it is possible to come across the Vesica Pisces symbol in many places. It is possible to see that Jesus Christ is depicted in the symbol in many depictions, from tarot cards to various icons. This symbol, which is also included various geometric symbols such as the flower life, is used in a wide area, from decoration, materials, to accessories. It is possible to see the symbol of the Vesica Pisces in every area related to the goddess, a symbol that comes from thousands of years ago and express the creative energy and fertility of the goddess. May the creative light within you never go out. Bunch of nonsense. Let's read another article about this, which is speaks here of the Vesica Pisces. Fascinating iconography of Vesica Pisces. Here you can see some of these pictures. You can see the blasphemy in this. God descended, the Holy Spirit descended like a dove, right, on Christ when he was baptized. Here's descending on Mary, which is blasphemy. This is not God. Some guy with a long hair and beard in the sky. Here you can see the pyramid on his head and the halo, which is satanic to the core. Right here on the Mary, you can see the devil horns. This is all nonsense and blasphemy. I will link these links in the description. You can take a look at these pictures for yourself. Let's just read the article. The Vesica Pisces is considered to be a sacred symbol that is made of each intersection of two circles of the same radius, and the center of each circle lies on the circumference of the other. The exact origin of the symbol is unknown, but the symbol prominently originated from Pythagorean history, traversed the Christian iconography, and evolved in several modern architectures. The sacred symbol portrays the divine femininity, female fertility, and birth of life, but in Christianity, the femininity notion is subdued and it mainly reflects the glory of God. Vesica Pisces is a Latin word, and when literally translated, it means the vessel of the fish. It's derived by taking two circles of equal diameters, overlaying them in such a way that their circumferences touch each other's epicenters. The intersectional area is also called the mandorla, which is an Italian word for a little almond and looks like the shape of an almond. The fish had been a symbol in Christian iconography from the time that Jesus told his disciples to cast their net into the sea, and they pulled exactly 153 fishes, which is in the book of John, I believe. Vesica Pisces can be divided into four equal right triangles whose height and width expressed in the ratio 265:153. Thus, the number 153 holds a special significance in the book of John. The division of 265:153 is condensed to 1.73203, and the closest square root to number 3. Hence, 3 is called the measure of the fish. In Orthodox Christianity, Vesica Pisces was found in religious depictions of Jesus during the Gothic period. The arches, the windows, the vaults, and the porches of cathedrals are based on the Vesica Pisces geometry. Vesica Pisces as a womb of the universe. In the Greek and Roman mythology, Vesica Pisces, the mandorla, was associated with the idoless Venus and Aphrodite. You see, this is all paganism. Had a mythical connection with the fish. It was understood as a token of fecundity, procreation, and renewing of life. In the Buddhist tradition, the fish is a symbolic footprint of Buddha and denotes the emancipation from desires and attachments. Buddha himself is described as a fisher of men. This is blasphemy. Christ said, I will make you fishers of men. This is just the devil through his pagan religions, his false religions, exalting himself above all that is worshipped, right? So that he can sit in the temple and be God, right? Be like God. He wants to be like the Most High, showing himself that he is God, as 2 Thessalonians 2:3 teaches. As a matter of fact, let's take a look and go there right now. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called God or that is worshipped, so that he as God sit in the temple of God, shewing himself that he is God. Okay? So that's what he's doing. He's counterfeiting God. In Christianity, Jesus, the Son of God, depicted in the mandorla that resembles the birth canal or gate of life. Christ's death and resurrection opened the only possible gate between heaven and earth, the mandorla of divine glory. The mandorla is compared with a woman's vagina or vulva between the 12th, 17th century churches of England, Ireland, and Wales, whose origin was a mixture of pagan and Christian traditions, had seen stone carvings of a naked woman called Sheila Nagig, and the exaggerated vulva represents the Vesica Pisces. Sheila Nagigs are described as disgusting, offensive, or even evil. Euphemistically, they were called fertility figures, and because of their naked and rude bodies, a certain connection with the ancient cult of the mother goddess, they were considered as pagan idols. I really don't want to look at this statue, so let's try to somehow get over. Yeah, there we go. All right. Vesica Pisces in modern architecture. It was kind of, gross. Vesica Pisces has been evolved from Christian iconography in modern buildings. For example, Washington Monument, St. Peter's Square in Rome depicts the symbol. I've been here before, twice, in the Vatican and in St. Peter's Square. And you can see right here the Vesica Pisces and bald shaft, the phallus, bald's phallus, standing right inside of it. It's all about sex. They're perverts. This is sex magic, as Crowley taught it. It's all about that sex nonsense, and how they're trying to get into this magic through sex and all of that garbage. So, all a bunch of nonsense. And you have it right here as well in Washington. The same bald shaft is standing right inside the Vesica Pisces. So they do worship the reproductive organs. And right here, the proportions of the Vesica Pisces have been included in the Sphinx and pyramids of Giza by the Egyptians. Mathematical interpretation of the Vesica Pisces, the Pythagoreans discovered some unique properties of the symbol in sacred geometry. Straight lines correspond to masculine energy, the curved lines to feminine energy. So when the masculine and feminine energy was added, 3 numbers were discovered that have the same infinite properties as pi. These numbers are 2, 3, and 5. The first number 2 is a sacred number used in Solomon's Temple, Jerusalem, and Torah in England. The second number 3, proportions of the mandola 265153 match with this number that is discussed in detail in Christian iconography. And number 5 is a number with which the golden ratio can be found. This is an important ratio used abundantly in our art and architecture. Conclusion: the Vesica Pisces is the most stable and visual symbol in the history of human beliefs and culture. Denotes the divine femininity, the beginning of new life, and unity. However, in Orthodox Christian iconography, feminine and vaginal notion of Vesica Pisces is completely undermined and has been only used as a visual device for depicting the glory of God. In Roman Christianity imagery, some hues of the archetype of feminine meaning are retained. And the last article right here mentions Kundalini. So this actually is very interesting. Only this article I came across that actually connected it with Kundalini. Vesica Pisces is a symbol for the merger of the polarities, inner unification, part of the process of the Kundalini awakening. Now this is some Gnostic witch, okay, that wrote this garbage. Throughout the ages, there have always been initiates, artists, and mystics who knew that Jesus was not born as Son of God, but had experienced the Kundalini awakening. This is blasphemy, and they're going to burn in hell for this nonsense. After which he was one with his divine Father. The Gospel writers have hidden the spiritual truth in their texts in inventive ways, including the use of symbolism and wordplay. Books, because of the rigid attitude of the church, the truth could not be spoken aloud, but underground through esoteric groups such as the Freemasons, it found its way onto the canvas. The Vesica Pisces is the intersection of 2 equal semi-overlapping circles. The overlapping part is shaped like a stylized fish. The Vesica Pisces has the same esoteric meaning as the hexagram, the fusions of opposite. In Christianity, the fish Ichthys is one of the symbols of Christ. Historians differ on its origin. My book, John the Baptist Became Jesus Christ, I show the roots and the meaning of this symbol for Jesus. The Vesica Pisces stands for inner oneness and the end result of the process of Kundalini awakening. Garbage. From early Christian depictions, we can conclude that the fish was known to represent the Kundalini awakening. Below a number of examples from catacombs, tombs with, among other things, a fish-like Kundalini serpent wrapped around a trident or an anchor. Both represent the spine. We see the trident in several spiritual traditions as an attribute of the gods, as it stands for 3 energy channels. They are involved in the Kundalini process. An anchor is a metaphor for the merging of the 2 energy channels, the 2 anchor points, the Sasham-Nainada in the spine, and the top of the pineal gland, the ring of the anchor. The anchor has esoterically same meaning as the caduceus of the Greeks and the ankh of the Egyptians. Sign of the sacred marriage. This is from alchemy. 2 fingers together, incorporated in many paintings, one form another, often in combination with other esoteric symbolism. This hand gesture refers to a fusion of the polar energies, the duality, and with this to a process of the Kundalini awakening. In art, both the fish and 2 fish, whether in opposition, opposite directions, can be a reference to the Vesica Pisces. Of course, not every fish depicted has to have a deeper meaning. Practice makes perfect in discovering and interpreting symbolism. Now, like I said, I will leave this linked up. You can take a look at some of these pictures. But again, you have the merging, right? You have the male and the female as in alchemy. What do you get in the end? Baphomet. You get the devil merging the male and the female together. This is all paganism. This is all nonsense. And so we saw that same symbol right here on this album cover. Okay, this is all a bunch of garbage. And in part 2 of the video, we will take a look at some of the lyrics